Hi guys, how is it going? Welcome back to a new episode of Inside Fnatic's Brush. Week 1 recap, or recap of week 1, should I say. And what a week it's been already. Quite an impressive one. I don't know if you guys had the chance to watch it. It was a super week. That means 3 days of game, of intense competition, teams coming back. Well, not on stage this time. Everyone was at home, obviously, but it was an interesting one to say the least. And yeah, let's all check this together, guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a chance to catch the games, catch the content, all the fun stuff. If you've missed some of it, I'm here to keep you up to date on what happened last week and have a peek a little bit on what's in the future with week 2 expectations. So for today, as you can see, it's always this direction. Week 1 LEC Recap to start the episode. Then looking at Fnatic's exceptional week 1 and the sort of results we can take from it. And then our usual prediction, me against the community, you guys, who have voted on my Twitter polls this time. Thank you very much for participating. There are actually enough votes for me to have a real result every time. So I thank you all for being for participating. That's all. I don't know why I try to make it complicated for participating. I appreciate you guys. Anywho, moving on to let me just fix this, guys, real quick. Okay, cool. I thought I removed this from last time when there was the double audio issue. Seems to be better now. In any case, week 1 of LEC, as you can see, we have the current standings with. So for people who are joining or watching for the first time, what I do usually for the LEC recap, we have a quick look at the standings, and I do a little sort of rating of the team who've been impressive, who had good performances, and teams who have been a bit disappointing, below bar, below expectations. So a quick look at the standings. Things change every year, but yet stay the same. As we can see, our top 4 are again Rogue, Fnatic, Mad Lions, G2, which was last year's top 4 at Summer. And then we have a bit of a mix between SK and XL and BDS and Misfits. And all the way at the bottom is Astralis, which kind of was expected. But we have Vitality, who's 0-3 in their first week. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think anyone who was being serious would have ever predicted Vitality to go 0-3 in their first week. That maybe they're not the first team in the LEC, maybe, but to go 0-3 and not be able to, I don't know, be super competitive on, not super competitive, but to be able to challenge and close games in their first week when you have so many players with so much experience, I don't think anyone would have predicted that. But for me, obviously, so looking at our top teams, the ones you see next to the green arrow, before mentioning Fnatic, obviously. I was pleasantly surprised by, first of all, Rogue. Actually, Rogue, who last week I was kind of questioning their roster moves. Obviously, having lost Hans Sama and Inspired, which were two of their main players, in my opinion, able to actually, first of all, start a 3-0 week. B, I'd say rather clean in most of their games. I mean, it's hard to be super clean in your first week. Uh, Players coming back to competition, stuff like this. You're gonna be super rusty, obviously, but for a team that brought in a Korean player and brought in an ADC who was kind of, you know, kicked out of a low rating team, which was Vitality last year. I don't think anyone was expecting them to be 3-0. I feel like they're playing much more decisively already than last year, where it was more, the classic choke the opponent before doing something and just acquire natural leads throughout the game. They're actually much more aggressive, I feel like, this time, and they're pushing the game forward, which makes them much more exciting, in my opinion. So yeah, that's that. Um, Also, in comparison, Mad Lions, who, well, for me, I I said they had probably the most exciting rookies out of all the teams that brought in rookies this season. Um, Without speaking about the rookies, Elyoya and Kaiser, it's like, everyone's kind of focusing on Mad Lions' new player, but you're like, oh wait, they have Elyoya and Kaiser. They're never gonna be in trouble, right? Elyoya is already having performances that's putting him, in my opinion, a strong contender for MVP already. And I know it's only 3 games into the season, but my God, is this guy good? He's just too scary. I mean, granted they lost against SK and they still were like on the brink of bringing it back against a Chemtech or Chemtech, is it Chemsoul, whatever it's called. I don't know. Drake on SK. They extended it. It was like almost an hour long game, or maybe it was an hour long game. Can't remember, but it's quite impressive what they were able to do, despite all these elements that were against them, and and yeah, I mean, obviously, very impressive game against Vitality to kick off the season, and I think Reeker played really well. Unforgiven is being also quite impressive. I feel. Obviously, they had him on the Karthus on the first game, so he was just like kind of chilling. But then, obviously, a bit more impactful on the other games with different champions. But yeah, so far I think Mad Lions rookies have been up to the challenge and the expectations that people have for them so far. Again, it's very early into the season, so we'll have to see how well they develop going forward. G2. So I put G2 in there, even though like a lot of their games were very close and they almost lost to Excel. Who, despite their advantages and the draft, were not able to convert it into a win. So G2's team and like org, like staff and everything, were apparently pretty heavily hit by COVID. So I think it's a pretty good showing from them, what they've been able to accomplish so far. Obviously, Broken Blade being Broken Blade, I think uh, in no way was it expected for him to kind of flop. Even though I think he had a bit of a complicated game. Was it against Finn? Who was it against? Can't remember. And Flacket and Targamas, I think, showed up really well. Flacket was like, eh, like he wasn't bad, but I don't think he was that exceptional so far. He's just kind of filled in his role. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say about G2. Still, they're able to be 2-1 despite being uh, ill, and I think it's a good start for them. It's a very good start. Obviously, their loss coming from their game against Mad Lions, I believe. So yeah, not too bad, not too bad so far. And obviously, Fnatic, um, absolutely impressive 3-0 beginning. I mean, obviously we have our section about Fnatic, but man, I mean, obviously, I know a lot of you had probably voted or predicted 3-0. I'll admit I'm guilty of thinking they would have gone 2-1. They're probably gonna lose, sorry, against Vitality. Um, because obviously Vitality on paper looked very strong. No one would have thought that they would have this absolute shocker of of a weekend, obviously to begin with. So yeah, incredible starts, obviously, giving the games they had. But we'll talk about that a bit more later, obviously. What I'd like to focus on, I mean, I've put Vitality first before, obviously, I talk about the big the big piece here. I've put BDS. So for me personally, I rated BDS a bit higher. Um, a few things I was disappointed about. The first one is X Maddie's level. I had big expectations for him. I've always rated him very highly, especially when he was in Fnatic Rising. I didn't watch much of his games when he was on K Corp, but being a double EUM winner, I'd say like he wasn't absolutely shit, obviously. But for me, there's only really two players who stand out, and that's Syncroft. I think it's playing really well and is having a great start to the season. And Nuclear Int, who's continuing his good performances he had on Schalke. For me, he was one of the standout members when Schalke was obviously crashing and burning. So it's good to see him being very impactful here. Yeah, but they obviously lost against Fnatic, even though they had a very good advantage, so unable to close it out. Partially, and that's my other big concern with Adam. Now, Adam, I have a bit of an issue with, not because of the draft. Well, I guess it's a bit really. So for his game against Fnatic, he just played like an idiot. I'm sorry, but the fact that okay, you pick Darius, that's you do what you want there. But the fact that you flash level 1 thinking you're just gonna kill Wunder with your I think the ability is called Cripple or something like this, and then going into bot lane just because you want to kill Upset, just to make a statement. Grow up, man. Come on, like this isn't about you and your ego. It's about your team and the game. So like I can understand you want to create some hype, you want to get the French fans go absolutely crazy and stuff like this, but it still shows a lack of maturity in a sense, and eventually I think that's really what cost him the game because Darius wasn't ahead enough against Gwen to do anything, and then it was just I'm getting caught now, dead, dead, dead. Just becomes a E button champion. That's it. He's only here to apprehend, and that's it. So yeah, BDS, they're not there yet. maybe they'll improve. I thought that their built-in synergy from obviously being a team of players who've, for the most part, already played together. I thought they would have done more, but didn't happen. Didn't happen this time, so unlucky. And yeah, so obviously Vitality. What happened there, man? Vitality. So just a reminder, Vitality has Alfari, Selfmade, Perks, Karzi, and Labrov. Super team across the board. Great players. Um, LEC champions, LCS champion for Perks as well. Players have been considered as the best in their roles and stuff like this. Can't even get one win. Um, Quite of a shocker here, and not just because, you know, it's not for me. It's not even a question of not having good synergy. There's massive misplays that you would not expect from top caliber players. Perks is playing super poorly in lane, has no impact there on after. Alfari is just here to play the lane, so he's good in lane. And then once comes to mid game, he's doing fuck all. Like, he gets advantages, and then he's very much 4v5 after that. There's no more Alfari. Self-made is still playing the self-made ways, which is he puts himself ahead, and once he's ahead, he's going to be able to impact the game. He's not able to enable. Like, it's insane that you're not willing to play a style that's going to enable players like Alfari and Perks to be impactful. And then Karzi, I don't know what the fuck happened with this guy, but he's gone, and Labrov is still finding his footing. So again, it's still early days, but for me, I'm a bit shocked, and how would I say? I was gonna use the word scared, but it's not scared, obviously, but it's just kind of worrying for a team like Vitality that they're making so many mistakes when there's so many veterans. It's just a team of veterans in there now, so I don't know. I think they have to change their playstyle, or maybe it's just week one being bad, and then they'll improve going forward. But not impressive so far. Nothing exciting as well. They haven't shown any, I don't know, elements of thinking like, oh, maybe they're gonna be good. Like, they even lost against friggin' Excel did. Excel weren't even able to close the game when they had a better draft, and you lose against Excel. So yeah, not a great start. Not a great start for Vitality so far. So for now, they're in free. I hope for them that they get their first win this week. If they go 0-5, not only is it worrying for them in terms of, you know, the level of the team, what they're supposed to be, but also in terms of qualifying for playoffs, right? Because 0-5, that means there's very little space for mistakes. Like, I believe the cutoff bar to make sure to make playoffs is to be 9-9, basically. If you're already 0-5 within 2 first weeks, you're only allowed to lose 4 more games in the upcoming weeks. So yeah, pretty scary. And they're facing big competition next week. I think they're facing G2 on Saturday, and I think they're facing SK, I believe. Can't remember. Let me check really quickly. I think there's at least one game they can win. Who are they facing? BDS. Yeah. So I think they can win against BDS because BDS kind of all over the place. If they lose against BDS, it's gonna be complicated to win against G2, especially if G2's players recovers from what you call it, from COVID. So that's that. Give me a second. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, with that said, let's move on to the exciting part of the podcast, which is Fnatic. Ooh, what a week, guys! What a week! That was absolutely bangers upon bangers. 3-0 week. Uh, Perfect week for us. Um, let me just check something real quick, guys. I don't know what I'm doing here. There you go. Sorry. Yeah, 3-0 week, guys. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's take the games one by one. So first game against BDS was pretty fucking awful. To begin with, the early game was just all over the place. Wunder and Razork, who have a miscommunication, they give away 2 first bloods. People getting caught. We're getting outplayed. Syncroft getting 2 levels ahead on Razork. And then BDS start making misplays. For instance, what's his name? Adam trying to go bot lane to kill. What's his name? To kill Upset, which is kind of stupid because it cost him the game. Well, it was one of the elements that cost him the game, and get behind a Gwen to which he was ahead, and Gwen just scales to infinity, obviously. So that happened. Then very good team fights from us, despite being behind, especially from Razork, who had. You guys need to watch again. There's a first engage around, like middle river around, first turret from BDS, where Razork hits a good like crescent strike and completely splits the team, gets a kill onto Xmati and isolates Adam completely, where there's space for him to get killed through the Sterex gauge and everything. So that was very good. Other good team fight was an amazing engage from Haley Sang on his Rakan, who had an absolute stellar performance, and I think, in the opinions of many, should have been the MVP on this game. But whatever happened with the voting, I'm not here to comment on that. But absolute great engage on the mid lane again. Adam gets a bit too far forward, gets stun card. Hilly charms everyone, gets a knock up on the back line. Adam gets isolated, killed, and I believe it was Xmati who gets killed by the needles from Gwen. Limit on Nami tries to run away. Ulti from Humanoid on his TF. Stun cars, triple kill, Baron. And then it's just like pretty much smooth sailing. We get a bad team fight, which makes us lose the Baron, but we bring it back again. So there's a lot of back and forth. We get a good team fight on under our that begins under our turret on the bot lane, inhib turret, which then again, well, it starts with actually Wunder who chunks LeBlanc with his Q. They have to retreat. Adam gets caught. Syncroft gets hit by the charm along with, is it Nami or Xmati? Can't remember. He knocks up 2 of them, and they pretty much like TP, take the Hex Tech warps, and end the game. So yeah, pretty awful early game, but they managed to get through it in the end. Razor gets MVP. I mean, he had good presence in the team fights, but I think Healy's engages really is what helped him clutch it out. But you know, that's the life. It's the life of a support, and it's the life of a player being on a team when there's a Spanish player and Spanish community kind of being behind him. So yeah, so that was for the first BDS game. Moving the next day onto the Vitality game, which was game of the week, and this was supposed to be a spicy one. Obviously, it would have been better if Vitality won their first game. Could have been like, oh, both teams won their first games, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, Vitality starting 0-1 doesn't really remove the hype because obviously anything can happen on the next game. But here, the game starts with an absolutely beautiful outplay from Wunder on his Gragas, and man, if anyone was afraid that Wunder was washed up, especially after the first game, I think he just made a pretty big fucking statement on that one, saying, "Guys, I'm still here, and I'm here to win it." Because I think I've watched this replay countless times. Every movement he makes has a purpose. He's not just moving left and right hoping to dodge. Is that just at the moment they're about to dive him, so they join him under the turret. He hits 6. He stays far away so that he doesn't get engaged by Twisted Fate without Twisted Fate being hit by the turret. He hits the casket just at the moment where Selfmade goes to dive in with his E. So completely fucks up the engage here. Stays far away so that Upset's Q Ice Stun doesn't hit him. Flashes over the execute Q from Selfmade, who gets killed by the turret, then sidesteps the W from Twisted Fate to not get killed, walks away in the other direction, presses W to get a heal passive from Gragas just the moment he gets stunned by the gold card, so he doesn't die, which means aggro onto Perks for a double kill, and then manages to win enough time for Humanoid to join him. Gets killed, but Humanoid cleans it up, gets a kill on Renekton. So amazing start. Unfortunately, we kind of scuff it up. Vitality brings it back, and they just catch us from time to time, and they just come back into the game, and it feels like, well, Vitality I guess is back. They're just fucking us up. We're making a lot of mistakes and everything. I thought he was over it. No, I'm not even reading the end of this. Shut up. No, this is not the place to mention this. I'm not having it, dude. I am not. No. Listen, okay, I'm just gonna continue with my explanation here. Crap, what was I saying? You completely messed me up, dude. Yeah, so basically what happens, we get caught into the jungle, which forces I hate you guys. Forces Vitality to start the Baron, and we really outplayed the situation. Oh, I think Wunder really outplays the situation because he gets a good frontline engage. He's unkillable. He's building super tank Gragas. Hits an amazing casket on Alfari. He's completely isolated on Renekton. And Heliosang, who's having a pretty rough shut the fuck up, Loki. Oh, fucking hate you, dude. And I hate you guys. And And yeah, Hiliesang was having a pretty rough game on Zillion. He was missing like double Q stuns, misplacing, wasting his ultimate, like putting it too early, so that there's no revive. Plays much better starting the second half. He's speeding up. Razork is finally starting to get some resets, and we're finally bringing it back. We get Ocean Soul, which I think was super important here because that means we can sustain a bit more of the burst. If it doesn't kill us, we can bring it back with the constant healing during team fights. And it really came down to that final team fight in the mid lane towards Vitality's base. I got a bit scared at the beginning because Selfmade was just kind of in that Chem Fog or whatever it's called, comes out of nowhere, hits the stun onto Upset, who almost gets exploded straight away. But Razork Humanoid and Wunder actually played the fight super well. So Razork and Wunder are kind of frontlining, kill Kiana, so that means reset on probably the strongest member of Vitality. Just mess up everyone in front of them. Humanoid in the back line is actually just annoying Renekton, just poking him, setting chains on him so he can't, join the team fight again. So he's just blocking him constantly. And in the end, we just clean up the team fight, it was like a 1-for-4 in our favor. So like good, like our team fight is super clean, and I think that's what saved us against our very poor early game, which was absolutely abysmal here. And thank God for having the caliber of players and the veterans we have on their team, or else we'd have had a very different score, I think, at the end of the week. So that's don't even link my dude, whatever. Um, so yeah, and the SK game. So for me, compared to the first two games, obviously which were very poor, for me the SK game was a bit of a test to see if we were going to continue of having the very poor showing, even though we were playing against, in my sense, which is a much weaker team. What is this? Is this another tweet, dude? Dude, you're actually just going back into my. Holy shit, dude. What is this? Wow. I don't even know who I said this against. Oh yeah, yeah. No, it doesn't matter, Loki. Loki, what the hell are you doing? This is not archive. If you want to have an archive episode, we'll have it for next time. Anyways, I'm trying to speak here. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, against SK, we obviously there was a very good hook from Haley in the early game, which was kind of unfortunate. Jesus' positioning here just decides to leave the brush and completely misses the movement from Fnatic. Um, and I think throughout the game we play really well. Gilles made a lot of mistakes, which also helped us. I think take over. In the end, the SK game, there's nothing in particular, just Humanoid playing insanely well. Uh, it's just this guy was basically under Certus's turret, farming 12 CS a minute on his Victor. So no, I think the SK game obviously was the cleanest one out of the three, and overall, like, uh, few things I've noted on there was that, first of all, I think Munder and Humanoid are playing extremely well. super flexible as well. I was very happy to see that we finally, for what seems to be the first time in a long time, a very good LeBlanc player since probably Caps. Um, I mean, Humanoid absolutely deleting what's his name, Karzi, in the Vitality game. Completely changed the game and just hitting those chains every time. Uh, and being always ahead in CS. Uh, Played 3 different champions. Just super impressive stuff from him. Wunder, who's still able to outplay, playing either frontline tank or stuff like the Gangplank, the Gwen, able to come back into the game despite a very awful start. Super flexible players. My slight question mark would be on Razork so far. Um, he's been struggling very early, which was I was kind of expecting because it's a change of environment. You're playing with top tier players compared to Misfits, where you had a bunch of rookies. You had a bot lane that was Kobe and Vander. Not necessarily the best players in their respective role. Right now, you have top caliber players. You have probably what is the best bot lane in the West. Uh, Potentially the best mid laner in the West. I think that's safe to say. Um, Wunder has been historically one of the best top laners in the West. Albeit a very complicated 2021 for him. He's been the one who's challenged everyone every time. So, dude, what? Loki, stop sending me links here. I'm trying to. Who posted this? Did you make that? You proud of yourself? Jesus Christ. I'm not looking at. I'm gonna ban you, Loki. I'm gonna put you on a timeout if you continue. Where did you post that? Whatever, guys. This show isn't about you or about me. It's about Fnatic. Okay, leave me alone. But in any case, um, yeah. What's my point? Yeah. So obviously, there's a bit of time to adapt for Razork here because he's kind of having to adapt to players who are good on their own, and he feels he has very little to do to enable them to win their lane or stuff like this. So, Humanoid, absolutely insane performance, I think, so far. Upset, just gapping in CS. I feel like he's frozen every lane uh, for each game he's played, and always like 10, 15 CS ahead. Wunder had the games he had, but the fact he's able to stay relevant despite either being behind or playing, non-carry champions. I mean, his Gragas was literally unkillable. This guy was just walking up, just catching everyone off guard, just frontlining for days. So he's just like, I don't care, guys. They cannot kill me. So it was pretty good from them. I was quite happy for this first week. Um, Obviously for next week, I'm expecting them to continue the win streak because they're facing teams that aren't too complicated. I'll mention them in the prediction section, but um, for me, I'm pretty satisfied so far. There's obviously very clear problems, but it doesn't feel as bad as previous years where it's like, oh my god, everything's wrong. They seem completely disjointed. For me, the biggest issue is early game. How does Razork impact it properly, as to make sure that we don't have to rely on amazing team fighting to be able to get back into the game and basically win. So yeah, that's for me is the major point. What I will add on to that is after listening to their voice comms is pretty much ASMR. It's just that's how calm it is. How they're able to, um, you know, call the shots while being behind. There's no like frustration or everyone calling everything, shouting over each other. When they're playing like intense team fights, it's just it just feels like another day at the office. Everyone knows what they have to do. They're calling which opponent to focus. So I think this speaks a lot on you know each individual player's experience and their quality as a player. So I don't know. For me, the way I kind of envisioned it, it feels like we've just hired three mercenaries to join our team. They're like, okay, give us our money, tell us what you want us to do, and we'll do it for you. It just feels so surreal that you know I'm kind of repeating what I said last week, but that we're able to get such good players for each role, and they just clicked. It feels like they've clicked straight away. Like the um, the environment looks super healthy. They're already like joking around. When you consider it's literally three players from three different teams, so you're kind of assembling a new puzzle and creating new connections between them. So, and it's not like even some of these players are from the same country. I'm pretty sure each player is from a different country as well. So it's not like, oh, they're the same language, same culture. You're really putting together a melting pot of players, if I can use that term. But yeah, no, I'm pretty happy. They got us banger games to start the week, and I'm just really excited to see how well they continue on that sort of basis, and if they're able to snowball their progress going forward. So yeah, great start. Great start, guys. Let's make it 5-0. Speaking of which, this brings me to our predictions. Now, as you can see by the scores, I've been heavily punished for not believing and for having maybe too spicy predictions compared to the community. So this time, as I mentioned, I did not take the results from the Fnatic Discord prediction sheet, but from the Twitter poll that I made on at IFB Podcast. If you guys wanna follow and participate on the next predictions, I'll be posting them probably on Sunday. So basically, I make one thread for each day. So there's two main threads, and just vote on them, and I use that as the community vote. So for now, you're smashing me with a whooping three, +3. So I had to obviously again change it up for this week. So I guess for the obvious games when there's a favorite, we're on the same page. I have voted Fnatic against Astralis. No worries here. G2 against SK, Vitality, BDS. I think Vitality will definitely play much better this upcoming week. BDS kind of relies on two players so far, so I think Alfari's probably gonna smash Adam in lane. Perks and Nuclear Int. I mean, if Perks is still shit, it might still be very close. How can you vote Fnatic versus Astralis? We lost to them today. Ah, man. CSGO team is struggling. But I mean, it's the beginning of the season, so it doesn't matter. They haven't played for a long time. I'm not too worried. I think CSGO team is exciting as well. Maybe we'll make a podcast about CSGO one day. I don't know. We'll see. That's another subject altogether. Um, I've went with Excel over Misfits. For me, Excel looked a bit more convincing than Misfits on their first week, even though they have the same score, I believe. Excel almost winning against G2, Obviously, winning against Vitality, who's kind of the punching bag for that first week. But I'm pretty sure they almost won their first game as well, right? Who was it against? I forget. Um, so yeah, against G2 they almost won, and against BDS as well. Yeah, where Adam had an awful Aurelia. That was such a bad Aurelia. Like it literally looks like the Aurelia as I get in solo queue. I'm super disappointed in Adam. Really, I was really hopeful for him to show what he's able to do. So far, I don't think he's showed anything. I don't know. Whatever. Um, yeah, and for the last game of the day, Rogue versus Mad Lions, I've gone with Mad Lions. I think in their current state, they're better than Rogue, even though Rogue is 3-0. You know, if Yoya continues to play the way he does, then he just takes over the game. And I think Marang doesn't play well enough yet to be able to match Yoya's impact on the map. So we will see. We will see about that. So that's for the first day. Second day, I've gone with Excel again. I think Excel has an easy schedule for this week, and they should definitely be able to win their two games, unless I get completely bamboozled and their first week was kind of, you know, like a honeymoon phase or something like this. But yeah, um, but yeah, I don't think SK was that impressive. I think Gilius is completely running it down so far. So for me, the way I perceive Gilius as a player, he's kind of like a bandit player. I think he's great when he has to replace a jungler that's not good enough. But I've never seen him be that interesting as a starting player. I don't know if he has more drive to prove himself when he comes in as a replacement than when he's starting and he's like, well, I have my seat, you know, I don't. I mean, obviously, Gilius has always, you know, had like a sort of fighter mentality, but the way it translates into game, I don't know. He's just, for me, he's like one of the weakest junglers after the first week, really. And yeah, for the game of the day, I've gone with G2. Shocker, I know. But it's a mix of Vitality not being super impressive on their week one and G2 being able to, you know, do a bit more of a mix and match in their draft and surprise a bit more. Vitality is still trying to find its footing, so yeah, we'll see if my spicy picks this time actually work, because I need to catch up to you guys. Having a difference of 3 points within the first week, it's not good, dude. It's not good. That's shit for teams like Vitality, you know, to be 0-3. That's not me, dude. I'm not about that life. So yeah, I think that kind of for today. It's a bit of a short one, isn't it? Usually we last for an hour, but I don't know. There's just Loki is being a little troll in the comments. You realize, Loki, that this will never translate on the VODs. Well, except the Twitch VODs, but on the YouTube VODs, people are going to be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? So, yeah, unlucky, dude. Maybe next time. Yeah, I think that's about it for today's episode, to be honest. There's not much to cover. Yeah, expecting a 2-0 week for Fnatic. I mean, Misfits and Astralis shouldn't be, you know, too much of a hassle. Now, I have been reminded today by a friend that Misfits is usually Fnatic's kryptonite, especially on their first face-to-face. So, maybe. But I think we're just too strong right now. I just think we're, like, if we obviously, what Humanoid mentioned, that we only had 2 weeks to scrim, and we're able to team fight properly. Um, I still think it's interesting what we were able to accomplish. So maybe, as the weeks go on, we get more and more scrims, build in that synergy, fix those problems. I think it's kind of nice that we have a sort of like week 2 patching against weak teams, and then on the third week where we're back facing top teams, we'll have again another week to fix stuff. So good timing. Good timing for us because we managed to win against what was supposed to be one of the favorites, and against BDS grudge match, and get a third point with SK. So far so good. So far so good, guys. The contract has been filled, in my opinion. But with that said, I think we'll wrap it up here, guys. For those who have tuned in today, thank you very much. Make sure to follow my Twitch so you can be notified when I go live every week for the LEC/Fnatic Recap. You can also follow me on my personal Twitter, which is at @mattscott_, and on the podcast Twitter, which is at IFB Podcast. You can also find me on YouTube. Just search Inside Fnatic's Brush, and you'll find my channel. All the VODs are on there. I'm working on some better, thumbnails, so I don't do the very dark and orange ones that have been on the first season. Trying to improve stuff, trying to change it up, so any feedback is appreciated. In any case, enjoy the LEC. I'll see you next week, and I guess always Fnatic. Thank you, guys. See you next week.